This episode of the Amp Hour is brought to you by... That's usually where a company goes. We're actually completely supported by our audience. We really, really appreciate it. If you want to help out, you can go to patreon.com/theamphour. All that money goes towards microphones and servers and making the show better for you. If money's not your thing, iTunes reviews will also do. Thanks to Paul Stevenson for the music you're about to hear. This is the Amp Hour Podcast. Recorded March 16th, 2016. Episode 291. Artificially Intelligent Party Platform.
Welcome to the Amp Hour. I'm Dave Jones from the EEV blog.
And I'm Chris Gamble of Contextual Electronics.
What's up, nerd?
Hello again, my friend. I am
You're
back.
quite proud of your new T-shirt.
Oh, yeah, it's not released yet, though.
It's not released yet, but I've seen it, and I like it.
Yeah. Well,
and you did it yourself.
Maybe it'll be released here by the time this posts. No.
Why don't you just whack it up on Teespring?
That's where the picture was from, so yeah, maybe.
Right, okay, well, what do you mean maybe? Just hit go. What's the...
Okay, sure, go.
How much...
It now exists there.
How much procrastinating do you need to do to release a T-shirt?
Well, I was thinking about if maybe I just wanted it for myself, you know? There is like a value in that. I like that.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
But then everyone will ask you, where do you get one? Then you'll eventually cave in and do it anyway, so you might as well do it now.
That's true, yeah.
And we've talked about it now on the show, so you're just going to get a huge amount of interest. People are just going to flood.
Maybe I'll never tell people what it is, though.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe you've got to find it. That's
yeah. Yeah, it's like a
you've got to randomly
hunt.
Search. Yeah, scavenger hunt. Search
Everybody already stopped
Teespring
listening after this instead of... They not only don't care about the shirt, they also stopped listening. So yeah, T-shirt, maybe. Check it out. Mystery shirt.
Right.
What's new with you?
I don't know. I just make videos and stuff. Maybe, occasionally. If I'm not busy, doing other crap. Yeah. Although, as I said, I've now got a new outro.
Yeah.
So exciting. Yeah.
So that'll be on the next video, right?
That'll be on the video that's currently rendering in the background now, which is a repair video.
Oh, cool. Okay, good.
Yes.
So 2 things that'll be posted that are not posted while we're recording this.
Correct.
Cool.
Yeah.
I spent
so
the weekend...
glad we don't do this show live. Anyway,
I spent the weekend in Austin, actually. I was in Austin.
Your old hometown.
That's right.
Is it not?
Yep. And
how many years did you spend in? Were you born and grew up in Austin? Is that the?
No, I was born.
Tell us the Chris Gamble life story.
Yes. When I was a boy, no, I grew up in Buffalo. No, I was down there 2 years after school, and that's when I worked at Samsung down there. So it was only 2 years. But it's a great town. I mean, it's grown a lot. So it's been like 8 years since I've been there. The entire skyline looks different now. Like the tallest building in town is different. It's a lot of condos, unfortunately. But what are you gonna do? You know.
Meh.
So, yeah, but there's a lot of good companies down there too, right? I mean, there's some formerly great companies. Like IBM's down there. I think they had a chip design group down there too. Freescale's down there. National Instruments is down there. Samsung, obviously. So there are a good chunk of companies down there. Oh, AMD was down there. Oh, sad story. Yeah.
Whatever happened to AMD? I never really followed it. Are they still? Yeah, they're still making processors and crap, aren't they? Or are they?
I think so. I'm pretty sure that they spun out their fabs. I think that's what became Global Foundries. I think maybe that's wrong.
Oh, okay.
There was the AMD fabs became something else. I'm pretty sure.
Interesting.
Yeah, but so they sold them to Global Foundries, and that's still cranking. That's just obviously a foundry. So now it's and that's I will restate my prediction for the future. I predict that eventually Intel will also spin out their fabs as a foundry group, and then have the chips separate. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but
he's called it, folks.
Yep, line in the sand.
Yep.
Yeah. So there was a lot of. I think Mike Krell might have been down there too. I mean, so like I remember seeing a Silicon. They called it Silicon Hills because
right.
Why be original? and it seems to have changed a little bit, but there's still stuff down there. I mean, that was really big in like the mid to late 90s VLSI days, I think. And that stuff still exists, of course, but there's lots of changed alliances. Oh, obviously Silicon Labs is down there. That's one of the big ones right downtown too. So, yeah.
Cool.
So I was at South by Southwest though, and
how'd that go? I saw a photo of you sitting on a panel looking a bit.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah. So I was on a panel with Scott from Dragon Innovation, who we've had on the show before. And, Scott did a lot of the talking. But it was good. It was good. It was a panel about, taking your stuff to scale from a prototype. And Scott was obviously more on the, okay, well, here's how you go to, like, super. People remember Scott he did the iRobot stuff and the Roomba. Of course,
yeah.
And so he had a lot of experience with that. Mine was more like, make sure your board isn't crap when it goes to, because like there are significant differences from like a first prototype to even just a run of 100, right? There's that step up.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of more what I was talking about.
Well, it depends on how you do it. It depends on how disciplined you are in, I don't know if discipline's the right word, but what your process is for doing your prototypes. I know some people that go for broke on their prototypes, nothing less than an absolutely perfect final PCB and BOM is good enough for a prototype, just a one-off prototype,
Right. I've seen that on super high-end stuff before. Because you're going to spend so much on a prototype anyways, you might as well take the time, get it right, that kind of thing. Versus,
I've done that where it's pretty much all or nothing. It's like take my micro calc, for example, which is my credit card thin calculator, right? Scientific calculator. It's all about the final form factor. There's no point prototyping it on a breadboard or a Veriboard or whatever, because it's just a micro with some capacitive touch sensors and of course it's going to work, right? There's no point prototyping it. That's just stupid. It's all about the final form factor. So I had to go and actually design the final thing. Was my first prototype.
Right, and then any kind of subsequent stuff is just small tweaks.
Yeah, exactly.
Stuff like that.
Yep.
And that makes sense.
Fixing the screw-ups. Yeah.
I've done that. I've done it both ways. I think the other way is interesting just because if you're it's almost like you're even earlier stage where you're kind of just trying to figure out what you should even be putting on a board, so
right. Oh yeah.
Like we've talked about on here before, kind of making it not making modular, but testing things one at a time and just spinning through them and then eventually integrating them together. That's another way of doing it. But sometimes look at a lot of the products these days. It's sensor plus Bluetooth module. It's like, okay, well, that plus a power source and
might
as well prototype everything. And I think that over time too, that makes more sense just because there's higher integration levels in chips. It's like if you're not getting it right around that chip, it's probably not working at all. So, but I think about even like the not necessarily schematic and the layout and stuff like that, but really the parts. That's the stuff I think about. Like when I'm doing a prototype.
You do work for Parts.io.
Well, yes, no, but not even like that. I mean, whenever I do, I think we've mentioned this before though. Like when I do stuff for my designs, I don't actually put in real part numbers. I'll put in just 1K, 5 point.
Oh yeah, right.
5 point whatever K.
Same here.
and then just use what I have in the lab. And actually, that's my favorite thing because that's really where the prototyping's happening. You're trying different values.
That's right.
You're tweaking stuff.
And then I'll add the part numbers later.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Once I decide, right, I'm going to spin off 100 of these, or I want to do a pre-production of 10 or something, then I'll start adding the part numbers.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's other costing down type things as well. And this is what happens sometimes when you hand off a design to a more like an EMS type thing. They'll actually take it and redesign certain parts of your circuit to actually have topologies that are cheaper too, right? So if you can get away with not having a buck converter and you can just have a simple linear regulator because there's, it's just a little bit of power loss or something, maybe it's worth it because you save 20 cents on your BOM, which is huge.
Yep.
So, or just putting in new circuits, stuff like that. That's really that's the DFM pieces that I think about, like the design for manufacturing. It's almost like designed for cost optimized manufacturing, like that kind of, especially when you're doing consumer high volume type stuff. That's where it really gets valuable. But I don't get my jollies from that stuff. Because I'm also not building stuff that's million pieces kind of thing. So that's where
of course. No, it makes a big difference. What do we got on the list today?
I should probably pull that up, huh?
Yeah, we probably should. Considering that we don't have much to talk about otherwise, do we? I don't know. It's the same old, same old.
Well, let's do a little bit of backtracking to other guests. If you remember Gerald and Bertrand from Audim being on the show, that was the voice recognition chip.
Voice recognition, yes, it was. Wasn't voice synthesis, was it? It was just voice recognition.
No, just recognition. That is now available.
Speaker independent. Yep. Oh, it's now available. Okay.
Yeah, and it's actually called the Movi. I posted it as the Audim, but that's the company. So the Movi is now available, and kind of pricey, $90, but also when you think about having that on a chip versus having to go to the cloud kind of thing, that's pretty nice.
Yep. So, no contest.
Yeah. So
cloud, schmoud.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I wanted to talk about the cloud a little bit.
Oh God!
Actually, I wanted to get worse. I wanted to get way worse. I wanted to talk about the Internet of Things,
worse?
Dave.
Oh yeah. No.
Yeah. Because
no. Why?
Well, because that's what my weekend was. I was at the South by Southwest, and everybody there is interested in the IoT stuff. And I just...
Of course there are, because they're all people looking to jump on a bandwagon. Yeehaw! Let's ride this pony into town.
Right. I'm still not sold. That's really...
Yeah, right. Okay, good.
That's where it comes down to. I don't know. It's just like...
Why? Why? Okay. Why are you not sold? Why are you still not sold? On the Internet of Things or the Internet of Things? Well, the Internet of Things is cloud, right? I mean, it's all one.
Right. So, there was a couple people that were like demoing stuff, and I think that South by Southwest kind of shades towards software people. Maybe, there were some hardware companies there. There was the whole South by Create, it's called, where it's kind of like a mini maker fair there. But even that was more like demoing of, educational material, stuff like that. And there were some other things, but all this stuff that I saw that was like, app-based, connecting to this or that or this or that. It wasn't bad. It just, I was talking to them. I'm like, I don't want any of this stuff.
You're right.
It was like controlling things that so there was a couple different ones, but like one of them was controlling things in the home, and it was a really nice app. It really was. It was very nice, and there was nice people working on it and stuff like that. But honestly, it was like controlling existing consumer level stuff, right? So like the Sonos, like Sonos has internet connected speakers and stuff like that, or the Alexa, right? Like that's the Amazon Echo. I think Alexa is the name of the thing you talk to, but it's actually called the Echo. It like sits. It's like looks like a cylinder. It's just on your kitchen table or something.
Yeah, right. I've seen those things. I know. It's like I don't want it. I don't need it.
Now, obviously, you and I are not the target audience, and I would be willing to guess that even some of our listeners are not.
Other people ultimately don't want it either.
Right.
They might be convinced to buy it, but that's different to, actually, having a real need for it.
Yeah.
I mean,
right.
And there's nothing new here. It's just, gadgets over the last 100 years have been fads. People get suckered into buying them because they think they need them.
Yeah, man,
and they don't.
That's never taken off.
No, and and then they just end up.
Edison, you're full of crap. Light bulbs. Why don't people just use whale oil lanterns?
I mean, to me, the classic example is still the internet-connected freaking light bulb. It is just...
That's the one that...
It's almost a parody, yet people take it seriously, as if they need it. Right. I need to change the color of my lights using my iPhone. No, you don't.
Well, and that's honestly what it came down to. So what I was thinking about, okay, so like I said, the software people I was talking to were really nice, and they had good stuff going on, right? But... Right. The thing I didn't realize is that a lot of the times you have to set up each thing independently, right? So each light bulb you have to set up independently, each device you have to set up independently, and then they all have APIs that you have to tie into, and that's what this software was kind of doing. It was kind of linking all that stuff together, and that's what was surprising to me. I figured that it would be like there'd be kind of like there's still no standards. That's what I'm getting down to. Is like there.
Well, even if there are standards, it still doesn't help the usability side, like the practicality and the need side of things.
Well, some of the things I could see.
It makes setup easier, right?
I mean, some of the things I could see, but honestly, what it comes down to is, so like you said, the light bulb, that's a great example. And the thing is, and I think we've talked about this before, is, the convention that you and I are used to, and many people are used to, is the switch, right? Yeah. And the fact that it's all decoupled from that, right? That's, I think, the next step, if it's actually going to work, and if they actually want to, obviously the price needs to keep coming down, and that is happening already, and that's fine. And, things need to be speedier in terms of connecting. You need to have things actually responsive, right? So that's kind of a thing. And then,
the thing I really hate is how everything's connected to the bloody phone.
Right, exactly, and that's what I mean, yeah.
Right? This is why I like the Switch, because it's in one place. It is fixed. It's like the remote control for your TV, right? It's always annoying because you never find the remote control because you're always moving it around. Same thing with your phone. You never find your bloody phone when you want it. Right.
Well, and I think that's what it comes down to, I think, is that usability. I think you're spot on with usability in that, okay, so I was thinking about this when I was watching these demos. It's like, okay, so you want to fade them and do all these different things, but it needs to be like a natural gesture, right? So, and like you said, we need to have it built into the switch. So I was thinking about like a squeezable light switch, right? So if the light switch could actually sense pressure, and if I squeeze the switch, that actually does some kind of action, or if I push it in, or has some other kind of built-in natural interface there, that's ultimately what's going to be.
Switch is not natural enough. Why
no. So say you wanted secondary functionality. Assuming you needed
additional functionality.
Right. So you want color changing ability, whatever. Right.
Right.
So the switch still needs to control it. That's fine. It still needs to be responsive when you turn it off or on, because that's how people are used to it. And people will disagree with this. That's fine. But then I would see the next. If you wanted secondary functionality, right? Then like you squeeze the switch, or you push it in, or you hold it longer or something, and that ends up changing the color.
At it. Change, you bastard.
Yeah, I don't like.
No.
I mean, the voice stuff is still pretty far off.
Voice activate. Yeah, I know.
And then the idea is that you could still control it from other things, but you still need to have that natural interface, right? The existing interface, and like retrofit it almost. And that's what it seems like a lot of people are lacking. And I think that's opportunity, to be honest. Like if internet connected color changing light bulbs are really a thing, obviously LEDs are going to be a thing, and dimming is still a thing. But if the color change is really a thing, and there's other indicators you want to have with that, whatever, I think you still need to have a natural interface, like a switch and stuff that people are used to.
Yep. Totally. Yeah. No, the phone is just bullshit. No,
I agree with that. It's super unnatural.
Found in some startup, and it's based on controlling stuff with your phone.
It's good for demos, and honestly, it's an indication. It's an indication that it's controllable from another interface. It doesn't have to be that one. Usually, people are doing it for demos, and that's fine, right? So maybe you want to do it so that when your phone rings, your lights flicker. I don't know why you do that, but like you can have it connected, and but you still need to have those natural interfaces, and I think that's. Yep. I don't know. I think honestly, what I really think is that the whole home thing is kind of that's farther off. I think there's a lot of interest in it, but really the connected device thing is stuff like Akiba's doing in the rice field stuff, right? So like the rice field monitoring.
But it doesn't have to be connected. The things you're talking about have no dependence at all upon the internet, the cloud, the connected whatever BS you're talking about.
What do you mean?
You're talking about squeezing the thing on the wall, having a different type of UI to control your lights. It does not have to be connected to anything. Why? Why does it have to be connected?
I mean, it would for... How would you actually communicate between the squeeze and the light?
Via a wire that's already in your wall?
It's going to do like power line coupling type stuff?
Yeah.
I think that would be a different thing, but maybe. I think that's more difficult, but okay.
I just don't see why it has to be connected. If you want to make it wireless, okay, but it doesn't have to be connected.
No. Yeah, I would think
connected means to the cloud, right?
Not like that.
No,
I would think like a Zigbee or something between them, like something like that. Not necessarily Zigbee, but some kind of
If you needed to go wireless, then go proprietary, short range, non-connected wireless.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, so obviously I did not work on consumer. I have not worked on consumer, and I doubt I ever will. But to have
Not
an
with
analog
an attitude like this.
Yeah, right. But there was a standard called HART. Have you ever heard of that? HART.
It rings a bell.
Yeah. So what it did is
Remind
it
us.
used to. So it would be like, so there was like 4 to 20 sensors, which you know what those are, right?
Yep.
So like 4 to 20
4
milliamp
to 20
sensors.
milliamp, yes.
Right, and so that's so that you don't have to worry about drops and lines and stuff like that. And then HART was this rather slow serial signal that went on top of it, and that's the kind of thing that I think that would be kind of interesting. That's like kind of what you're talking about. Then there was also wireless HART, kind of like following those same trends. Obviously, those were very, very robust, so it wouldn't need to hopefully be that robust. But like using that as an example, it's like that stuff has existed in industry for many, many years now, and
Right.
And honestly, I think that the industry stuff is probably the place. That's what I was getting at, is that industries where it actually needs to be connected, either mesh or cloud-based kind of thing. So I don't know. I think there's a lot of examples out there, but I think that any kind of acceptance in a home setting needs to be more natural
Right.
somehow.
So you
So-
still think cloud sucks?
Just because of the speed and the reliability.
Yep.
I mean, yeah.
Speaking of the voice command thing
Mm-hmm.
that you were talking about, I actually have found myself using the voice command in the GPS in my car
Oh yeah.
more and more. I kind of like it,
Yeah. I do that for Google, my Google phone a lot.
Okay, yeah, no, I don't do it for the phone.
No.
I've never really, been into it for the phone. But the car, because I'm driving. And,
Well, I know, but that's what I use. I use my phone
yeah.
for navigation. That's what I mean. So.
Oh, right, okay,
Yeah.
right, got it.
Yeah.
Yep. No, and it's it kind of sort of works. I just go voice command, but you can't do it if you've got kids in the back. Talking
screaming,
and screaming.
yeah.
You can't do it if you can't do
Right.
it if your windows down. You can't do it if the radio's on. It's
Right,
got to
right.
be. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's definitely going to be a piece of future computing. I just don't know what.
Yep. And that's an interesting speaker independent voice recognition is an interesting tech that's been around for, they've been trying it for like 40 years or something. They've been perfecting it for 40 years, and there's still a lot to go. I still think there's a lot of room for growth in that space.
Man, it is not easy. Like that.
No, it's not. It's rocket science. Like it's
I can
it's
barely
software
understand
rocket
you most
science,
days, and so now a computer
Exactly.
needing to.
Right? Yep. But it's if you can crack it, there's a huge market there.
Right.
Huge market.
Yep. Yeah.
And you don't have to crack it totally. You can just crack a niche application that's better than everyone else's niche application.
Right.
And, yep.
Yeah, I was having a conversation about robotics at one point over the weekend, and
As you
we
do.
were talking about like assembly, like electronics assembly and stuff like that, and how even with the price of labor going up all over the world, a low-paid person will outpace a high-paid robot in a lot of scenarios, including because like Rethink was there, that Baxter robot, and they have some new robot as well.
Right, yeah.
Rodney Brooks was there giving a talk, and I don't know. I'm still very intrigued by robots, and I do think that there are big changes coming, but it's in terms of replacing humans, it's
Nah.
in terms
long
of
way off.
dexterity stuff, especially that's a big task.
Yep.
Like looking at
Totally.
that video of the Steam controller with all that beautiful robotics and stuff like that. Like that was not a
Yep.
cheap thing to set up. That was a very, very
No.
expensive thing.
But if you
So-
want it to do anything else,
Yeah, exactly.
like,
Yep.
it just does that, and that's it. Like
Yeah.
you can
Yeah.
make small tweaks to handle other things, but you got to, No, you can't just walk in. You can't just randomly walk in and go, "Oh, can you do this differently just for today or just for this one-off?" You can't. You can't.
Yeah. I was wondering about that with the news over the weekend or last week about the Google. Was it Google? No, it was that whatever the AI that beat the Go champion. You saw that one?
I heard.
I mean, you saw the news
mumble
article
about it.
or the
I don't
headlines.
even know what Go is. I don't.
Oh,
No.
it's like it's a game of strategy. It's like black and
Right.
white pieces. You try and surround your opponent
Right.
basically.
Yep.
And I've never played it personally, but it's
Same
a
here.
very, very classically difficult game for computers. And now this new one I think it's like 4-1 computer versus human of like a world
Right.
champion. And same thing with that, where it's like, thinking about, okay, you move something a little bit off. It's like, is that a very specific system? Like, obviously it learned that to a significant extent, but
yeah, but isn't it just brute forcing again? It's not doing anything hugely intelligent.
I don't know how that works.
Yeah.
But I would think that it would have to be, it's not just, regurgitation, right? So like for chess, it was like you memorize all of the playbooks, and then you calculate all of the probabilities based on, all the possible moves and things like that.
And
then
you compute, yeah.
Yeah, and that's like a binary tree at that point, right?
Ahead.
And then you calculate probabilities. I don't think that was possible for Go, so I think that's why this was more, I think because of the massive number of potential options out there, that it just wasn't possible to do that.
Well, I can't see it being any more than chess. Chess is enormous.
Yeah,
if you
but
actually look at the math behind it.
Yeah, I believe that. But I don't know. We'd have to look at this, I guess. But yeah, it's just interesting.
I actually watched an interesting video on that the other day. It was on the Numberphile YouTube channel, I think.
Oh, yeah.
It was on Numberphile. And yeah, the math of chess, how many moves are possible. And it was really interesting. I'll have to link it in. It's absolutely fascinating. It's, like 10 to the power of, hundreds.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
After X amount of moves. It depends how you interpret it and how you do various things. But yeah, it's absolutely fascinating.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm. So there you go.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
We just have no idea about this stuff, do we?
Speaking of artificial intelligence, we are feeling stupid today. There was something I was going to mention about the another past guest thing. So that's how we started. This was talking about past guests. We actually I didn't link in a video from last week when we were talking about the plasma fireball, like burning up a fiber cable. So that's what Mark was talking about. And
yes.
And there is actually one
we
now.
didn't see that. I did want to see that.
Yeah,
so you've got the video?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's so I'll link that in this week. Maybe I'll go back and actually link the other video too.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the way to go.
It looks like it's like light traveling down the line, and then I'm like, wait a second, if I can see it traveling, then it's not light,
Yeah, right. It's
you can
not
actually
light,
see the propagation down the line. It's like no.
It's like the difference between electrons and electron flow. Electron, flow is actually very slow.
Right.
It's like, what is it, millimeters per second or something? It's very, drift velocity, is the correct terminology for, yes.
Yeah.
So everyone thinks electricity, it's so quick. But if you actually look at the electron drift velocity...
Right, and that's like one
slow.
electron going from one point to another, right?
Google it. So,
I will have to. Yeah, it's been a while.
I need to get the number now.
Right. No, that's interesting because it points out, though, that like a lot of things that we think about, obviously we talk about current and voltage and all this other stuff, but a lot of it is constructs, right? I mean, that's really what it comes down to.
Oh, yeah, no, it's...
and it's... So, like, that's one thing. And then, like, even just current in general, right? Many people will know, but in general...
Somebody emailed me this the other day, and I always get a couple of similar ones emails a year, people who say, oh, I don't understand, why does current flow from positive to negative? And all this, like, but my teachers tell me there's electron flow goes from negative, like, or another classic example is, what is ground? How do you determine what is ground? Right. It's like, it's what you define.
Right. Well, but that's tough for us, though. That's part of like the whole, like when you're in it for a while, you forget how confusing that can be. Right.
Yeah, and some people complain about this. I throw these terms around in my video without thinking about it, and they're not strictly correct. Because we just end up getting like
blog, not strictly correct.
That should be my slogan. Yeah. But it's true. We get lazy about the way we talk. Lazy in the way we talk about things.
Right.
And we know what they mean. you
Right.
know, and it's like, meh, you know.
No, and it's tough when you're starting out, and actually that's
very.
I started doing new videos actually on like simple, not even necessarily simple topics, but just short videos. I've been doing 2-minute videos and stuff, and so like for things like that, because it's super confusing when you don't even know, you don't have any kind of reference point on that stuff, you know,
Right.
like, and you don't know what to go Google. That's the real reason, right? And like sometimes when you go Google it, you're like, oh, okay, well, blah blah blah, Ben Franklin, blah blah blah, historical, you know, like, okay, now you know that for current flow, but it doesn't make it any easier, and that's the problem, you know. It's just, or it doesn't make it any easier at the beginning when you don't have any reference point for it. So,
Yep.
yeah, that's another thing I've been trying to stress for my students and other people I talk to as well. That like sometimes, because I know a lot of people that like will not only go look it up, but they'll get like kind of caught in a Wikipedia spiral, you know.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And
I waste a good lot of every day. Doing
yeah,
that.
but
Sad.
like it gets kind of frustrating too, right? That's the other thing is like, so if you're going down that Wikipedia spiral, like say you're starting at op amp, right? And then you're like, oh well, there's, you know, you start looking at the, you know, just the assumption like no current flows in there, and then you're starting to look at current, and then you're starting to look at all this other stuff, and then you're looking at input FETs and all these other crazy things, and you could get to the bottom and be looking at a article on like Miller capacitance, and then eventually you just throw your hands up and you're like, I guess I'm never learning electronics, you know?
No, that's right. Yeah. No, it's an infinite field. I mean, you know.
Well, sometimes you just have to. The thing I try and stress is that, like, in certain cases, and I try and point it out, in certain cases, you have to just be like, just get through it. You know, just kind of,
Right.
just kind of muddle along, write down the things you don't understand, and go back to them later. I was making a video about that just because, yeah, man, it like you get caught in a spiral, and you'll get super frustrated. So it's important to just sometimes just keep going.
And it's hard because if you're one of those, I don't want to use the word anal retentive, you know, but if like everything has to be correct and, you know, like,
right.
you know, you'll never get anything done.
Right.
You know,
right.
you like it's crazy.
Right.
You know, it reminds me of the video I did just to really annoy some people. But it's fascinating too, which was, does current flow through a capacitor? Oh. You know, and it's like, yes and no.
Right,
and
right.
it depends on how you look at it and how you think about it. But, you know, and then, you'll get some people that, you know, are so adamant that no, it does not because blah blah blah, and then you know,
right. Well, that's
but,
another
hey,
thing where it's
look
just
at the formulas. Think of
it's a construct.
It's a
right?
construct. It's
Yeah.
a construct. How can you analyze your circuit? Just think about current flows through a capacitor.
Right.
And if you go look at the Maxwell's equations, well, you know it does.
See,
There's a theory there
don't
where
go,
it does.
don't go
right?
look at the Maxwell's equations. That is a hole, man. Like.
But it can back up. But it can also back up your theory that it does flow through a capacitor.
Yeah.
So, you know, like,
Yeah.
it's,
I don't know.
you
I've been talking to people about this though too. Like, so I've been trying to promote the idea of top-down electronics recently, because
Right.
like something like that, right? Where it's like, oh well, a lot of people. So obviously, this is because, you know, thinking about education and stuff like that. But a lot of people in a lot of schools will be like, okay, well, let's start at first principles.
here's
And-
an electron. Here
Right,
is
exactly. Well,
Right,
or
yeah,
how about
no,
here's an
it's-
equation? That's even worse. Like,
you know,
like
you've-
that's rough. And it's like, oh, well, let's talk about
you've
equations.
lost people straight away.
Right, exactly.
know?
So top down is
crazy.
like you start with, consider the iPhone, and most people who have seen one at least can visualize what
Exactly.
that is, and then eventually
And
you
then
start talking
you
about
break it down.
software and apps run on, you know, on operating systems. Operating systems are built on programming language, they're run on hardware, which run on blah blah blah, all the way down to eventually it's like, and eventually you start talking about a camera sensor, and in a camera sensor there are CMOS, you know, individual bits of CMOS, and then you could start talking about that. But you're going to
Exactly.
lose people all the way through either way, right?
Of course.
Um,
But no, but I think you're going to keep more ultimately over the long term if you start from a top-down approach.
I totally agree. And the other thing is that even if you lose people on the way down, they still learn something. You know, like it's like,
Exactly.
oh, now I
Exactly.
know that an app runs on an operating system kind of thing. And
If you start top-down, they will stay in the game longer.
Yep,
They'll be
exactly.
interested for longer and learn more than if you start from the bottom up. You'll lose them straight at electron.
Yep.
Like, yep.
Yep. So I'm giving a talk on that when I'm in Belgrade, and then
Okay, cool.
that is also the name of my potential book. I started a book.
Seriously? You're going to write a book?
No, well, I'm not going to finish it probably ever, but it's I have a half a chapter written. That counts,
Wow.
right? I'm an author now, right?
It does count.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is the idea there. We'll see if that ever goes anywhere. Mostly, I'm just trying to claim all of the top-down electronics, Google juice.
Do you own topdownelectronics.com?
Not yet. I will by tomorrow. Actually, I was thinking about that today. I should buy it. I do have it's on LeanPub is Top-Down Electronics. So.
Right. LeanPub?
Yeah,
Oh, right.
LeanPub, you publish a chapter at a time kind of thing. I think I mentioned that to you before.
Okay. Yes, you did. Okay, right. So is it published?
No.
No, but you've put it up like it's a private repository, is it?
Yep. Okay,
cool.
Yep.
And you do realise you can't make money from books, right?
Oh, of course. No, yeah. Yeah. No.
Well, you can, kind of.
Yeah, some people can, but it's not going to be me. And it's not going to be about electronics,
No, that's right.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm not worried about that. So, yeah.
There you go. I can't believe you haven't brought up the Hackaday prize yet.
Well, I was talking about other work stuff, so. Yeah, the Hackaday prize, yeah.
You aren't really a loyal company, man, are you?
I guess not.
No.
Yeah, no,
it's back again.
It's back, and it's really interesting this year. I actually really like the things they're doing.
I like the different categories, like the citizen scientist, for example, and automation and assistive technique. They've got these different categories.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, no, that was we were talking a lot about constraints and stuff like that, and that kind of helps to form because it's like if someone walks up to you and says, I don't know, have you ever spoken another language at all?
No.
Okay.
I suck at it.
I also am not good at it, but it's like, so I used to take Japanese classes, and if like someone walks up to you and they say, "Oh, say something to me in Japanese," right? And it's like there is literally the entire language, which is an option, right? If someone walks up to you and says, "How do I order a beer in Japanese?" or "How do I say hello in Japanese?" or in French or whatever, in German, whatever, like. That's a more constrained problem, and it's like your brain will start to at least register. It's like, I know that or I don't, and then maybe I can figure it out, or maybe I can speak it to you. But if you just say anything, at least my brain always locks up. Same with like, oh, well, just design electronics product. Yep. So I think that constraints really help for that kind of thing. So I like that. I like there's two other things I like is, one is the leaderboard thing, so that if you go and vote, you can vote and give people like early money for like prototyping, which is actually really good. I think it's like up to $200, just for parts and stuff like that. You can
cool.
Vote on early ideas, and then the other thing is that each of those 5 categories you mentioned, 20 people in each category will get $1,000, which is like, I mean, I think last year was only like 400 or 500 entries, which gives you almost a 1 in 5 chance of like. Winning. So.
Awesome.
Yeah, man. $1,000.
And there's all new judges this year. I won't be one of them because they want to rotate every 2 years.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So once you've done, 2 contests.
Right, every 2 contests,
there's more than one
a
year. Yeah, so once you've done 2, which I've done, they go, sorry, can't be a judge anymore.
Yep.
So.
Yeah.
Yep. So there's all new judges, which I like because it keeps it fresh.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so some good people there too.
Yep. Unfortunately, I don't know who half of them are.
Well, maybe you will after this, Maybe
That's I will. I'll go check out their profiles.
Yeah. There's some cool stuff in there. Yeah, I think that's it for the prize. I don't know. The video is kind of fun too, but that's about it. People should enter.
Cool.
I think there's all those different stages are staggered as well. Like you can enter more than one if you want to like put your thing into more than one category. So if you were like a citizen scientist plus like but it was like an automation thing. So if you were like automating measurements of weather balloons or something like that, you could probably enter it in 2 different things. So, and then the last one, whatever wins, can go to the end. So, yeah.
And tell us the prize, son.
I believe 150 grand. Is that right? I'm not looking at it.
It is correct.
I should look
150
at it.
grand. Second prize 25 grand, which is a decent amount of dosh.
Yeah,
so,
man.
And 10k, and then 5k.
Not bad
Third,
at all.
fourth, and fifth. So even those aren't bad money at all.
Yeah.
Have you heard anything about any issues with giving the prizes to the winners in the previous contests?
No,
Any
there actually have
legal
not
hassles?
been. No,
No?
because we there are very they're like the official rules are all laid out. Like so, there's a couple countries that actually can't participate, which kind of stinks.
Right,
But
yep.
it's on those countries. So I think like Italy and like I think not even a country. I think Ottawa in Canada. Like it's just something like you have.
Right, yeah, part
Yeah.
of Canada is, the
Yeah,
French
it was,
part
and it's
or
all
something,
because
isn't it?
like the restrictions around like you need to have the languages and or you need to have it in the local language and all this other stuff,
Yep.
and it's just there was a lot of
There has been a big to-do about the Keysight Contest. You know, there's Scope Month, which is still running at the moment.
Yeah,
you can win a
right.
scope a day. You know, you can win a 15 grand scope every day.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's insane. And they've been having so many problems actually giving these things away, giving
Really?
them to the winners. Yeah. And like some people have had to turn them down. I think a couple of people already have won them and have had to go, I've got to turn it down.
Because of
I
like
cannot
taxes or
accept
what?
this. I cannot accept this 15 grand scope. I can't pay 5 grand in in
5 grand?
I don't have 5. Some people, they're going to get charged 30%.
Whoa.
I don't have 5 grand. So, it's like
Right.
some people are going, well, donate it to the local hackerspace, and apparently they're trying to make that work, but they're not sure if they can make that work. And, and,
Oh wow.
and people from Australia can't even enter, right? Which is
Wow.
nuts. Even some states in the US, I think New York and Washington or something can't enter, and it's just,
Wow.
it's turned into a huge balls up, really. And there's a huge forum thread on it, 20 pages long or something about, people kicking
Yeah.
and screaming.
Right.
And it's just, I hate these bloody things. Lawyers get involved and it's just all over.
It is tough. I mean, I think that it's
Yep.
unfortunately it's tech coming up against government type of stuff, so that does not make things easy.
Not
yeah.
at all.
Well, that's unfortunate. Hopefully they do figure it out. Especially like the hackerspace idea. That's a good idea, especially if the space can come up with the money. It might be.
Yep.
It's like getting 66% off effectively. So.
Right. And then I think somebody on there said, "Oh, hackerspaces don't deserve it either because it'll just go missing in the first week."
I hope not. Yeah. Yeah.
Boy, so it depends on your type of hackerspace too. I mean, I know hackerspaces that don't do much electronics at all. They're more into other mechanical or woodwork or 3D printers, laser cutters or whatever, and they don't have need for a 15 grand scope, like a 15 grand 1 gigahertz scope. So, it varies. But that's a pretty good idea, so if you can make it happen.
I'm super nervous to bring up a topic here.
Do it. Just hang on. Just whisper it to me first, okay? And then we'll see if it's okay.
Politics.
Yes. Why not?
I'm not nervous about our listening audience. I think they can handle it. I'm nervous about you.
Why?
No, so obviously, all right. So I don't want to talk about.
You're going to leave the country if
No.
Trump
I'm
wins,
not
no?
going to say anything about the actual ridiculousness that's happening around here. I think everyone can agree that there's ridiculousness happening around here. But honestly, this thought popped into my head yesterday.
All right, go for it.
What if I ran for office? And then I started thinking about it.
I've been thinking the same thing.
Yeah. And then I started thinking about it, and so like, very sad. Like I think we've talked about on the show before that the U.S. has a insignificant number of people. I think in the 538 seats in the U.S. Congress, there's like 2 or 3 that are even remotely scientific, and 1 that actually was a scientist or a chemical engineer or something.
Absolutely.
And then you compare it to China, and China has everyone. Everyone was an engineer, right? Almost everyone.
Right.
And I think that's changing a little bit, but it's still incredibly well represented in terms of scientific thinking and yada yada yada.
Well, this actually, I don't know if I've talked about this on here way ago. I probably can't even find a link to it. I might be able to. It was in the US somewhere in some tin pot town in some tin pot state, right? Sorry to whoever lives there, you know. But yeah, right. It's some little town in the middle of nowhere, and somebody actually got. They just rocked up, and they were the only one there. And they put themselves, right, I'm going to nominate myself to be the Republican candidate for this little tin pot town. And they won with like 3 votes or something because nobody turned up.
Wow.
Nobody else. There was no competition.
They say 90% of success is just showing up, right?
It's just showing up, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm sure we've talked about this on here before.
Maybe.
In some way, shape or form. Yeah, and... So, you know, a lot of it is, just going out there and showing up.
Right. Well,
it's sad, but...
I don't think that would be it for me. But what I honestly started thinking about, though, is like, okay, well,
right.
What does that really look like? So now from an electronics perspective, because I do want to still bring it back to that, like, so what are some of the things, like, so say you and I were going to start a political party right now. And again, I don't want to talk politics, but just in terms of the thing, this is honestly a thing that, like, what's important to us, right?
Right.
And what would be our platform, right? And I think there are some very realistic things in there, and I think that there would be a lot of disagreement with our audience and a lot of unexplained details, yada, yada, yada. Let's suspend disbelief for a little while. But just in terms of what do we care about, right? I would think about, like, education, obviously, would be a big piece.
Of course, yep.
I would think about encouraging manufacturing, right? That would be another big piece, right?
And I was thinking about this just the other day.
Oh yeah, what part?
I would. Well, it's kind of comes down to if I was the president, kind of thing. You know, it'd be Mars shot. You start. You know, you like think big again.
Right.
Think big to get people to believe in something again.
Right.
You know, you have to think, you do incentives to start up manufacturing and everything. That's great. But like people used to believe in stuff, right? Back in the 50s and the 60s. And, that was even before I was born. So that's a long time, right? But people would believe in things. It was like, you would go to the World Fair and it'd be about what our city's going to look like tomorrow and, all this sort of stuff. It was all, everyone was excited about the future. Nobody's excited about the future anymore. All they care about is now.
I'm excited about the future, but I'm also terrified of it.
Right.
That's the other problem.
And it just doesn't,
Yeah. I think
people don't believe in things anymore, so we need that.
I think that's a great point, though. Like, definitely, like, big stuff that a company, well, maybe it can do, but just big stuff. I think big stuff's good. And then I think
I'll tell you what, Apple have enough cash on hand to actually get humans to Mars. I kid you not.
Really?
They have enough cash on hand. Using
like
the
using NASA?
Using the Robert Zubrin Mars Direct approach, which could, depends on how you price it, 30 to 50 billion. They have enough cash on hand to do it.
Which is how much?
Humans
How
to
much?
Mars.
How much do they have?
30. Apple last I checked had at least 50 billion in cash. Apple cash on hand. I'm googling it.
Okay.
They've got 200. They have 203 billion in cash, and this was in 2015, July 2015. 203 billion.
Wow.
They could get to Mars and still only use a quarter of their cash.
Wow.
Right. This is. This,
if it's just sitting there in a bank too, come on, guys.
This is what I'd be doing. Yeah.
Come on, Tim.
This is what I'd be doing.
Come on, Tim.
Right? This is what I'd be doing if I was the Apple CEO. And I had that much cash to throw around. Screw the government. We don't need the government. We can get the whole world believing in something. Let's go to Mars.
Yeah, what happens? So if you went to Mars and they put Apple logos everywhere, but it would be classy. I'm sure. It'd be well designed. They'd send Joni Ives or whatever his name is.
Yeah. Jonathan Ives would be.
Yeah.
Yep. would be the designer of the Mars
chief
base,
designer, of interplanetary designer, right?
But seriously, like, that's what I'd be doing if I had access to that sort of cash.
Right.
Be it either the CEO of a huge company like that or the president or whoever,
Right.
who could make calls like that.
Right. Well, and then so I started thinking about Oh, and crypto. Crypto would be another one. Like actual
Crypto?
like decent cryptography practices.
Oh, right. As in settle the privacy shit once and for all.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's lots of little things like that.
Of course. And obviously
I'd change.
but then I started thinking about other things too, like, and this actually kind of was a little bit broader of a thought than just like being a politician, because a single politician usually would never be able to do all this stuff. But just kind of the thoughts of like, okay, so thinking about a lot of the issues that are out there. And, so like things like homelessness and poverty, stuff like that, started thinking about like, okay, like, so say you were running as a politician, would that even be relevant of like, there are things that can be done, because maybe it's just a money thing, right? Or maybe it's a social thing.
I watched an interesting TED talk on that.
Oh, yeah?
Where, I'll have to try and find the link to it, where the persons, I can't remember who it was, they gave this TED talk, and their theory is that simply give homeless people enough money to live on.
That's like a basic income type thing.
It's a basic income austerity. Just give everyone a basic income, including homeless people. And they've actually done this in certain regions and countries and stuff, and it's actually worked.
Yeah.
It has actually worked. People don't freeload. They don't actually go, I'm getting money, I don't need to work anymore. It actually makes them want to go out and work.
Well, and I've read about that. I think that was in that robotics book, right? So because they were talking about, okay, so what happens in a post-job future, right? Where like literally everything's automated. Like that's actually one of the things they talk about as well. Like, so that's maybe not even a political issue, it's just kind of a reality issue at a certain point. Or
it becomes the Star Trek utopia.
Right.
Where isn't the Star Trek future where you don't get paid. You simply
you work for passion.
You work for the society.
No, I don't believe in Star Trek future in the slightest. Because
you want money, you want to be rich and famous.
Well, no, not that actually. I just don't have a very high view of people.
Right.
I mean, honestly, human nature is like we've spent thousands and thousands of years trying to improve our station in life and propagate our genes. It's like I don't think that's going to go away unless there's some kind of thing that does that. So,
totally.
No, but what I was also thinking about was just like, okay, so like thinking about like, because like I said, we are in the electronics realm, we're in the software realm. Like people that are listening are likely people that are working on things that could have some impact on the world. But there's some things that actually that could not be improved by that. And that's actually where some of the interesting problems are, I think. And that's where really like a lot of the social stuff crosses over with the tech stuff. Like thinking about like efficiency type stuff, right? That's a thing that could be solved by better architecture and enabling everyone online, stuff like that. Just reducing costs by making things more efficient. That's obviously a very hand wavy thing, but
right.
But that's not going to work for everything. That's not going to work if you, I don't know, need to build a road or something. Like it's not like you're going to build. You can't use necessarily tech to put down asphalt cheaper or something like that. So.
Oh God, let's not mention solar roadways.
Right. Shouldn't have even brought that up. But I don't know. So like this is just the stuff I was thinking about. And then I was also thinking about, again, I have a very poor view of people, especially when like I'm in a crowd of people. Like I just I become very what's the word? I become a malcontent. It's not the right word. It's a philanthropist, and the other one is a not a philanthropist and a misanthrope. That's what it is. I become a misanthrope. Right. I'm usually a misanthrope, but I can become more of a misanthrope. And just thinking about like, could, at least in the States, I wonder, could a scientific person even run for a high office like that? I don't know. I'd be very interested. I hope they would. I don't think it'll be me, but who knows? Maybe I'll get bored and try it someday.
Yeah, we need some change, because isn't the head of your science committee?
Don't even talk. Yeah, don't. Yeah,
a creationist. Come on,
right?
I mean, Jesus,
right?
Like,
but yeah, no, I just think like having science and tech and having some view at the table, other than like, hey, we make jobs, would be nice. So.
Yep. I watched a video Neil deGrasse Tyson, who's one of my
Oh, yeah.
favorite humans on the planet.
Me too.
And he mentioned, "Can I buy an engineer, please?" like as in, can I buy a vowel? Like the
That's
playing
funny.
the game.
Yeah.
What is it? Wheel of Fortune?
That's
is it?
Is it? No, it is Wheel of Fortune. You're right. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it is. Like, can I buy a vowel? Can I buy an engineer, please? Like,
Right.
yeah. And that's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's true. Yeah. Politicians are just.
Well, the other thing, again, I was thinking about
Well,
that
they're
as well.
politicians,
Like,
but-
could you use like tech? I mean, obviously, a lot of interesting software people are getting into the whole advertising for politicians and stuff like that too. But actually, like doing arbitrage and like online and like finding, I don't know, like using big data to basically find an easy election to win, and then using that as a kind of like you were talking about, like that kind of
right,
thing too.
yes. Yep, got
like
it.
gaming the system. That's what I'm trying to do.
Right. Okay.
Chris Gamble.
You just have to
gaming
go to
the
some.
system. Yeah.
You just have to go to some tin pot town.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Yeah. Right. Well, you're already in one. Cleveland. Ah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, well, let's talk about actually changing the world for the better here. Summer of Code. This is actually a program that I really like.
Code's not going to save the world.
No, but kids working on interesting problems will grow up to be adults working on interesting problems.
Software
hopefully.
programmers. Yeah.
No, but this is for the BeagleBone. I mean, like, this is embedded, kind of, sort of. So anyways,
I don't know. I can smell cloud.
I like that. Have you seen that sticker? It's a picture of a little cloud with like a frowny face, and it says, "The cloud is just somebody else's computer." Or I found out the cloud is just somebody else's computer.
Right. No, I like that.
Yeah.
I think there's got to be a good T-shirt slogan in anti-cloud.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
got to be.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
got to be. Yeah. Yeah.
But
My
I really
video's finished rendering. I'm quite excited. Hang on, I'm just dragging. Sorry, I'm
oh
just
yeah,
doing
no,
work
you just
in
do
the
your thing.
background
That's
here.
cool.
as
Yeah,
Yeah.
who's doing anything else these days?
No, well, the show's almost over. Jeez, it's minutes away from
come
ending.
on.
So
Why,
I'm-
why
I'm like-
bother? Concentrating through the end of the show. Not like we've.
Here we go. We'll see if I can transcode using all 12 of my cores, my Xeon cores, and actually still, do not only recording with Audacity, but we're doing the mumbly thing. Am
the
I
mumbly
still?
thing, right?
Am I still here?
You're still
Am
here.
I still audible?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, man.
I could actually put in a screenshot of my processor cores all running 100%, or they're like 95% or something.
We don't need that.
each.
Yeah, it's okay.
No, we don't need that. Okay.
Anyways, so Summer of Code, if you're interested in helping, or you can basically help over on the IRC channel as well. So they're always looking for mentors and things like that. So
IRC, yeah,
Yes.
really keeping that future dream alive.
that's right.
IRC.
That's right.
Yep.
Speaking of the BeagleBone Black, this is actually a pretty cool project. It's called it's posted a couple weeks ago, but it's called the Bella or Bela. I'm not sure, but it's just basically it's a shield, whatever they're called, the shield for on top of those things. But it's using super low latency audio, and so it's nice. Like I actually I had never really dug into the BeagleBone very much. But the thing I do know is that they do have there's like two like basically real-time processors on there.
Capes, aren't they called?
Yeah, I think that's right. So there's actually the PRU on board is what does, you can do like real-time stuff on there. And so basically it's like having two micros plus the A9 or whatever the main ARM core is. And so I think this uses that, and basically it has hardware to do super, super fast audio. Because, you think about any kind of lag, you start to build up different lags and stuff like that.
Yep.
So that's pretty cool. I like it. What else?
Awesome.
Yes, the Mike Harrison from Mike's Electric stuff. Did you see his video? It was a couple weeks ago now, but where he was
I did.
stripping down
Oh,
PCBs.
you're talking about the one stripping down the PCB.
Yeah,
Routing. I thought,
Yeah.
when I first saw the video, I thought, oh, okay, he's going to delaminate them, just peel them off or something. But no, he actually got a CNC machine to route the things out.
Yeah, and it's great. It's like
cool.
as a time lapse too, because you can really see it like peel back, and it's
Yep.
How else do you see it? You're saying like through etching? Is how you've seen it before?
Oh, well, I've seen, you can peel back the layers, because they're actually glued. They're epoxy glued, and, well, you can kind of. It depends, Sometimes you can, sometimes
Yeah, I would
you
think
can't
you'd take
peel
up a lot
them
of the
back.
traces with it too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep. So, it's very cool. Etched them way and did the same thing to a chip as well. Actually, CNC routed a chip.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah,
that's right.
yeah.
Yeah. So he did
Very
like
cool.
the God, what is that stuff called? Polymide? No. What's that? What's the black stuff called?
I
don't know.
mental block.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So he took that stuff. He got down to the
Resin,
silicon.
the black.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's good.
Yep. And I think he's got a video on how he did it as well, how he actually shot
Yeah,
it
that's
as
right,
well.
yeah.
But I haven't watched that one.
Yep. Yep. All right, so one or two things left here. This is another interesting one that just came out the other day. Someone posting about making a Linux computer, an embedded Linux computer, but really, I was more interested in using Oshpark actually for BGA stuff. So it was just on the edge. I think he or she, actually broke some of the rules and kind of just went for it. But
Right.
it was I think it's 0.4 millimeter pitch BGA.
But doesn't the software flag it and doesn't let you manufacture the board or something?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, really? It doesn't do any sort of DRC on the Gerbers.
Nope.
Okay.
I
Well,
don't-
then
I don't
you
think
can
so.
just go for broken.
I mean, I think even if you went through like an advanced circuits or something like that, you can still ignore it. I think it'll still do it. I mean, they might call you too, but
Oh yeah.
yeah, I don't think Oshpark does the. I've never tried it actually. I just do DRC locally, so
Okay.
yeah, I don't know. I should try that. I should try like a 1 mil trace or something and see what happens.
And
I mean,
well,
I know
come
it'll
on.
happen, but
So what happened when they pushed the limits?
well, it worked still. I mean, so yeah.
Down to what?
Oh, I think it was like 4.5 mils instead of 5. I think the limit on the service was like 5. So
Half a B stick.
yeah, I mean, it wasn't like a huge thing, but
By the way, do you know what an actual B stick is?
I bet you're about to tell me.
Somebody on the forum actually researched it, and a B stick is actually several millimeters long. I think it's 4 millimeters long. So half a B stick is like 2 millimeters. It's huge. It's actually huge. Who knew? I'm going to have to stop using the term now. I'm totally
Thank goodness.
totally demoralized.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to,
Just like everyone who hears you say it all the time.
all right. I had no idea it was 2 millimeters. There you go.
Well, now you know.
Boy.
Oh man. Well, the other thing that's interesting about this post, I thought, was doing BGA stuff at home too. I think I think we mentioned that on here a little bit. I still have not taken that leap. I feel like that's the next one that I need to try. I still, I'm not usually picking up chips that are BGA,
Yep.
but I've talked to some friends about it, and it is surprisingly, it's self-aligning, stuff like that.
It's not, it's self-aligning. The surface tension, pulls the chip in line, and as long as you get the, you can use one of those cheap-ass Mylar stencils.
Yeah.
Just put the paste on there. And,
Well, the key thing is just not. I found in all things, like soldering with solder paste, it's just like not using too much. That is the main.
all right.
The main thing that
Yeah,
I've learned.
because you don't want shorts under your BGA.
Yeah,
so,
right. You'll never find them. So.
Because you only have to get a small amount of paste on there to get at least a connection. It might not be the world's most, long-term reliable connection or something, but it's going to connect. Whereas if you get too much paste, bleh, you've just ruined your day.
Yep.
So, yep.
So
But it can be done.
I think that's it for me. I don't know what else is on the list. Oh, there was a cool video about a 1953 documentary on the transistor. That was fun to watch from Bell
I might have
Labs.
to watch that.
Yeah.
Yep.
It wasn't too long. It was like 6, 7, or 8 minutes. So.
I love those videos back in the day. It's just
Yep.
so funny. They got the music at the start and
Yeah.
and the transistor Western Electric recording. It's great. I think I might go sit down with my lunch and watch this.
Yeah, that's a good one.
They got the orchestra music. Oh, here we go. We got a shaky shot of some components.
Oh yeah. Speaking of components, someone also, Nix Fu, I'm not sure who that is, also posted some nice Shenzhen pictures. So that was nice as well. On our
Just
subreddit.
some downtown pictures, or in the markets.
Oh, in the markets. Sorry, yeah, in the markets.
Yep.
So.
Right.
Yep. So those are good too. Those are kind of some links you just have to watch or look at. So you do those.
Sweet.
Other than that, I will be out in California again next week, and I will be doing a meetup on the 24th. So if people are in San Francisco and listening to this, I will be doing a meetup on the 24th. Take a look on meetup.com for hardware developer Didactic Galactic. Come hang out, drink some beer.
Oh, okay. So this is an official Hackaday thing.
Supply frame thing, but yeah, yep.
Supply frame, whatever. You're all the
these are
same
those
bloody
talks that
company.
I've been posting lately too.
Yep.
So, and I still need to post James, Bald Engineer. He gave a really good talk last time on capacitors, so I need to post those. So
Cool.
yeah, it was good. All right, man.
We're done.
Yeah, I think so. I guess have a good week. We'll talk next week.
Catch you next time.
See ya.